Welcome back, everybody, to the Nerdcore podcast reviews movies and talks that nerd shit. This is episode 557, and it is your review of Hannibal. We're concluding our Ray Liotta month today, and that means we have to finish talking about these films. And today we're going to be looking at the 2001 film Hannibal. But before we can get into any of that, Brad, what's up, man? How are you?
What's up, everybody? I'm tired.
You tired, man?
I'm tired. I'm
Completely
sleepy.
understandable.
Sleepy,
Completely
sleepy,
understandable.
sleepy.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of tired myself too.
Mm.
um, yeah, I just want to what's it called? Go to bed already. But I went to the gym and what's it called? Came back to shower and now I'm ready for this. Yeah, Brad. How was work, man? Was because today was Oh no, you went back yesterday, right? You went back
Yeah, I
yesterday.
went back yesterday.
Yeah, yeah. Anything to report? I guess.
No, not really. Just more pains in my ass, and some days wondering if all this is worth it. It generally never is, but I got bills.
Got bills. You got a mortgage. You got a wife.
Yeah, I got dogs. So
Dogs. Yep. You traded kids for dogs, bro.
yeah, no.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the hard part. Bro. Imagine having to work. Imagine the amount of, you would have to work if you had kids, bro.
Well, also I think at least I come home, the dogs are excited to see me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Some teenager on the couch who's just a piece of shit.
Hey, bro. At one point, you were that teenager,
Yes, I
though.
know. That's why I can say this.
Yeah. Yeah. So don't go all high and mighty on me.
I'm
You
not
were at
going all
one.
high and mighty.
Yeah. At one point, Brad, you were that teenager listening to Limp Bizkit on the couch and
Oh
just
yeah.
angry at the world.
I'm just saying dogs are generally, better personalities than kids.
Sometimes it's just one of those days, right?
Just one of those days when you don't want to wake up. Everything
Oh man.
everybody sucks.
Well, I hope everyone's doing well. I hope that this podcast finds everybody happy, healthy, and doing great. I I just had work, Brad. That's all I had. Work, hung out with Rachel for a bit, and
Work, work, work,
gym, and
work,
that's it,
work.
man.
Yeah.
Um, but of course, Brett, we already reviewed Cocaine Bear on the live show. So if you all have not listened to that episode, make sure that you guys actually do go and check that out. But today we're actually going to be concluding this month. And honestly, man, like just the appreciation I grew for Ray Liotta this month, bro. It's just like, yeah,
That man could act his ass off.
he really could, man. He gave his all in everything he did, man, whether it was Goodfellas or whether it was Copland. And
Yeah.
or Wild Hogs. Like
Yeah.
he made sure that
I
he would never turn in a bad, well, not a bad performance, but like, a half-assed performance.
yeah, like he went all in for like everything. Like, even Wild Hogs, like a comedy that, you wouldn't really take seriously, but I think in his role I think he
Yeah.
always took his role seriously, like what
Yeah.
he was supposed to be there for and to do.
Yeah.
And it's nice to know and get to know more films than just Goodfellas. Because let's admit it, Goodfellas is what Ray Liotta is known for.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the one that he's really well known for. And, before that, I really hadn't watched any other Ray Liotta movie. And unless I didn't notice that Ray Liotta was in the movie. Um, But yeah, I'm glad that we did it, man. And of course, just rest in peace to the legend, man. If anything, we grew a bigger appreciation for him this month, and we really did give him the month that he finally deserved. Because we
Yeah.
really should have done this last year, but we were so busy with all the other stuff that we were trying to do last year.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So, with that said, Brad, I think we are ready to talk about Hannibal. Bring your face into the light, Brad. I need to I need to see the disfigurement. Oh man. All right. So if you guys have not watched Hannibal, I'm talking about the 2001 film, not the series with Mads Mikkelsen. I'm talking about the 2001 film. Then you want to go ahead and get out of here. But if you've already seen it or you don't care about spoilers, then go ahead and stay. Either way, how any of that goes, this is your one and only spoiler warning. And I guess spoiler warning for the what's it called, for Red Dragon and the Signs of the Lambs, since those are the films that come before this in the story. But yeah, this is in effect in a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, Brad. This is my last pick, so I have to read. So let's get to it. Hannibal is a 2001 psychological crime thriller film directed by Ridley Scott and based on the 1999 novel by Thomas Harris. A sequel to the 1991 film The Silence of the Lambs, the plot follows disgraced FBI special agent Clarice Starling as she attempts to apprehend the cannibalistic serial killer, Hannibal Lecter, before his surviving victim, Mason Verger, captures him. Anthony Hopkins reprises his role as Lecter, while Julianne Moore replaces Jodie Foster as Starling, and Starling, and Gary Oldman plays Verger. Ray Liotta, Frankie R. Faison, Giancarlo Giannini, and Francesca Neri also star. Following the release of The Silence of the Lambs, Heron spent several years writing a sequel novel. Foster and in Silence of the Lambs director Jonathan Demme uh, initially planned to return for the sequel, but they and screenwriter Ted Talley decided because they found it too lurid. Wow, declined because they found it too lurid. My eyes are skipping over a lot of really important words here. Scott became attached while directing Gladiator and signed on after reading the script pitched by Dino De Laurentiis, who had produced Manhunter in 1986, the first Lecter film. The first Lecter film. David Marmette and Steven Zilian wrote the screenplay, and principal photography commenced in May 2000, lasting 16 weeks. Oh my God, that's a lot of days. Hannibal was also released on February 9th, 2001, Brad, the day after Eric's one year birthday. Yeah, 10 years after The
Yep.
Silence of the Lambs. It was highly anticipated and broke box office records in the United States, Australia, Canada, and the United Kingdom, and grossed 351.6 million during its theatrical run. If it received mixed reviews, critics praised the performances and visuals, but deemed it inferior to The Silence of the Lambs and criticized its violence. It was followed by a prequel, Red Dragon, in 2002, with Hopkins reprising his role as Lecter. So, of course, directed by Ridley Scott. It's cinematography is done by John Mathieson, who has pretty much done most of Ridley Scott's work. Edited by Pietro Scalia. Um, the music is done by none other than the GOAT himself, Hans Zimmer. And it sits at 2 hours and 12 minutes on a budget of $87 million. This movie made 351.6 million. Oh my.
Ooh.
Yeah, bro.
Whew.
That was a success, Brad.
Whew.
That's what we call a success.
Oh yeah, that's more than a success. That's a box office takeover.
Yeah. Brad, that's what happens when you have, Anthony Hopkins in there. You have what's it called, Julianne Moore, and what's it called?
This is what happens when you have the sequel to The Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, yeah.
One of
Ray
the greatest horror
Liotta,
films
yep,
ever made.
yeah. It's just crazy. How much? Hold on. Like I know we'll usually go into our what's it called, to our initial thoughts here, but I do want to check how much did Silence of the Lambs make? Wow.
On a
I
budget of
mean,
19,272.7 million.
wow. Wow. That is wild, Brad. And then
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Red Dragon was 78 million and it made 209.2 million dollars. Yeah. It's safe to say that they were all very interested, the what's it called, the people at the time were very interested in seeing this, like, trilogy, and they were really,
Oh yeah.
excited to see these movies. But I guess I'll go first. I've been making Brad go first a couple of the last weeks, like, in a row. So I guess I'll go first here. Um, So of course I am a big Ridley Scott fan. I love his movies like Alien. I love Prometheus. The Last Duel is really good. I fucking love Gladiator. Like that movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. Black Hawk Down is really good too. And I'm gonna say that I really liked uh, Hannibal. Now I feel like I would be ecstatic over this film and more appreciative of it if I had seen Silence of the Lambs, but I've never seen The Silence of the Lambs. But going in blind to this movie, I was really impressed with the performances by like Anthony Hopkins, Julianne Moore, fuck, even Ray Liotta, dude. Like Ray Liotta, like especially at the end, he's
Oh
just
yeah.
kind of acting kind of like goofy in a way, and it's just like okay, like I still really like vibe with this, and I really like this performance for Ray Liotta,
Well, you know
uh,
why he was acting goofy, right?
because they're taking his brain apart. Yeah,
Well, that and he was drugged up to hell and back.
yeah,
How else are you gonna slice a dude's head open?
yep. Yeah, a lot of morphine in the system. But yeah, I really like this movie. And Brad, I'll go ahead and go next to you, Brad. What is your initial thoughts?
Same sentiment. I really like this movie. I was getting a little confused there because I thought we were watching technically The Silence of the Lambs because Hannibal Lecter, and then it took me a little bit to figure out like, oh, this is not Silence of the Lambs. This is a sequel. I didn't realize this was a sequel to Silence of the Lambs. It just
Yeah.
my brain. I'm blaming COVID, just a COVID brain on there. And no, I really liked it. This is kind of like another gritty serial killer kind of plot. With some interesting calls, I'd say, like the Mason Verger character. I thought that was very interesting to have him um basically trying to capture Hannibal on his own, defeat him to his
Hmm.
pigs, which doesn't end well for you know him. But overall, I really liked how this film looked. I really liked the storyline, and Hannibal is still a scary serial killer genius.
100%, bro. I mean, dude, Anthony Hopkins really plays this character so well, like to the point where I was like, dude, you're getting under my skin so easily. Like just the way he talks to Clarice on the phone, how he
Hmm.
talks to the Italian agent as well. And there's a lot of like different moving parts in this movie, but like they're all held up by like really good direction from Ridley Scott and some freaking really good performances here.
I mean, this film had me going searching up like what the hell was his name? Um, Patsy, the
Oh
the
yeah.
Patsy the Patsy family. That was actually like that was a real like character in Italy. So I was so like this film engrossed me so much I had to go look up and like this sounds way too much to be made up and it's actually a true guy. Um,
Yeah.
but I like I really do like this whole storyline and just Hannibal, picking off people who's like I don't know. He just picks off people who are trying to like end his freedom. I guess you could say everyone except Clarice. And it's funny because in this movie, just probably like in Silence of the Lamb, Hannibal sees Clarice as like the perfect, I guess, being.
Hmm.
At least, and at the end of this, he can't even come to the point of harming her in order to free himself. So he harms himself. That's how much he thinks of Clarice.
Yeah. I mean, to the point, like, I mean, it shows that Hannibal Lecter has a lot of like respect and like an odd obsession with Clarice.
Well, and like he just, I mean, even like if you want to be the upstanding person, you don't need the plaques on the wall. Just look in the mirror, and it's just like one of those things. It's like, yeah, this is a madman, but he's not wrong. He's not wrong of her. The FBI is doing her dirty, and completely, and just how corrupt the system is, to the point where it takes a serial killer to like tell that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and it's like because like Ray Liotta's character, dude. Oh my god. I mean, that dude is just an absolute ass. And like, and you find out it's because he's trying to like get out of this case already. He wants to run for Congress, and he wants to
Oh
what's
yeah.
it called? I've obviously more power than he already has, and it just like it shows like when that happens, like all the freaking things go south. Like even with Clarice on the case, like they were trying to get somewhere, but once they kick Clarice off, it's like, oh, all of this shit really starts to go bad.
Oh, it started to go bad from the beginning of this, and
Yeah.
the opening scene with Clarice and how they're trying to take down
Oh,
this drug kingpin, and then how all that goes sideways because you have one lone errant cop who decides to take it into his own hands, and it just gets like 5 people on her team killed, and then it basically falls on her.
yeah.
And it just shows you just how horrible that system is, where they're looking to blame her versus the actual person who should be blamed, and he goes out and dies a hero basically.
Yeah. And like by the way, just amazingly shot that opening scene, man. Just the way they kind of
Yeah.
like went about it. Also, like I really like the film stock that Ridley Scott used here. Like it has a really like grimy look from like the 2000s that you would see a
Hmm.
lot.
Very
But
grainy.
also it also really works well for like the story of Hannibal Lecter because like I could not imagine this film being any more like saturated or having a more bright color palette than it has
No.
because it's just like it won't work.
Well, and just those scenes, and I guess it was in Italy. I'm thinking it's Italy, but just those scenes
Yeah,
walking through Italy, and then you have the I guess the thief, the wallet snatcher, the pickpocket, just those
yeah,
scenes, and then just everything overall. You need that like grimy, grainy aspect of this film just to show, like, hey, this is a horror film. If you
yeah.
forgot,
Like I know that Wikipedia doesn't what's it called classify it there as horror, but this is a horror film,
it's a horror
like
film.
100%.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
Silence of the Lambs to me is a horror film. They can call it psychological crime thriller all you want.
it's
Sure,
horror.
it's horror. It's a horror film. It's literally a serial killer, and you get to see this man feed this dude's face to his dogs,
Yeah, and
and then
then
he
in this
feeds the
one,
dude to the pigs.
yeah, and then like, but by the way, and I'll bring this up, Brad, because they criticize the violence. What did you think about that? Because like, yes, having Anthony Hopkins serve Ray Liotta his own brain is kind of fucking wild,
I
right?
mean,
But
but
like,
but that seems like something Hannibal Lecter would do, so it goes
yeah,
right with the character. This is 2001. I grew up in the 90s, 2000s, and now 2010s.
yeah,
This barely has anything like if we want to compare it to like any Eli Roth movie ever made,
oh yeah,
like
hell no, bro.
this is barely any violence. Like the way this is shot, you can't even really see you know like with the pigs. Like yeah, the pigs are eating them, but you can't really, you know, you don't get to see much of that, thankfully. But yeah, maybe the eating of the brains was too far for them back in 2001. But after like Hostel and Hostel 2, this is just a cakewalk.
Oh, 100%. But by the way, like really good work from the makeup department for Gary Oldman, and also just Gary Oldman doing that whole like
I didn't even know
accent.
that was
And
Gary Oldman,
I didn't know it was Gary Oldman either
but
until
you
I
just
read the
fucking told
Wikipedia
me.
article. Dude, it's crazy. Like just all the amount of makeup they have on him, dude.
I want to know how long he was in that chair just to get all that makeup on, just for this role.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy, dude. Just like, but hey, it goes like what's it called? It goes to show you that like, dude, fucking the right prosthetic work will like really get the point across. Cause like I looked at Gary Oldman and I was like, I was afraid of this man, but I also kind of felt for this man. But like also when you learn about like the fact that he was what's it called pretty much just tried his damn hardest to get close to Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah,
And I
I
was like,
mean, and that's let's face it. Anyone who ever has gotten close to Hannibal Lecter, other than Clarice, is
yeah,
ended up dead. You think they would figure that one out?
pretty much, yeah. But I also what's it called did what's it called I did laugh when Anthony Hopkins Hannibal Lecter tells the nurse or whatever he I don't know what his name is, but like he tells him like just throw him in there, like you could just put it on me, I don't care.
Yeah, yeah. Just go ahead and push them.
Yeah.
and then he just sets the cart to go forward, and well, and it's one of those things. You know that dude was just a rich prick,
Yeah,
to anyone and everything. So yeah, I don't blame the guy,
yeah. Oh,
especially with him telling him to go down and get the gun that's in the pig trough right down there with the killer boars. And it's like, yeah, no,
hell no. I
hell no.
also what's it called? I also was at first when I watched this when I was watching the scene where like he calls him and asks about the boars, right?
Yeah.
I thought those what's it called those people in the guys in there were like kind of making it seem like they were working, but not really. When they would put the noises of the people screaming,
Hmm.
and then it wasn't until like the second time we went to them and like when we found them in the obviously in the end, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like they were trained to go by screams and like
Screams
that. But like
and
at
and
first,
eat
I
people
thought it was
screaming.
something completely different.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, they were just training the pigs basically. Like
Yeah,
they set the pigs up to like go, I guess, buck wild when you hit the screams.
pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. Um, yeah, I really like this film. I can't say I'm too impressed with the score from what's it called from Hans Zimmer, but I do like the like what songs they chose too,
I
like
mean,
for
it
the soundtrack
works.
wise. It
It
works.
works, but like it's Silence of the Lambs Part 2, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, also like I at this point, Brad, you know how many Hans Zimmer scores I've heard? Like, I mean,
A
what's it called?
lot.
It
We have
doesn't
heard a
touch like
lot.
even like the
Yeah.
top 10 of
Yeah.
his work.
True.
But yeah, I really like this movie. I feel like my only complaint is I guess I feel like it's so out of place because I haven't watched The Silence of the Lambs. So it's
Hmm.
like, I can't hold much against it like that. I need to watch The Silence of the Lambs and then maybe this movie will feel like a little different. But I really like this movie, Brad.
No, I agree. I'll just say that Silence of the Lambs to me is probably better. It's been a long time since I watched it,
Yeah.
but I would say Silence of the Lamb is just a better story. Plus, it's the original, so it's the first time you meet Hannibal Lecter. It's so
Yeah.
it takes that all into account. But this is a great sequel. Like, not even gonna lie, this was really good. This was a good watch, and it's what, a 2 hour and 11 movie, and does not feel like that.
No, it doesn't at all.
Yeah,
Um Also, I know that what's it called? I really wonder how like Red Dragon plays to it as well because like, so like there's Red Dragon, but there's also another prequel called Hannibal Rising
and
that
then you
was
get the whole television series and all that.
yeah, which like obviously like those are I don't know if they're canon, I don't know, but
I
like
don't know.
I know that Anthony Hopkins is not in Hannibal Rising, so I don't know. I guess one of these days I do need to sit down and watch The Silence of the Lambs and uh, and Red Dragon because I'm interested. I do want to see what Anthony Hopkins does. And I also was gonna say, Brad, Anthony Hopkins has aged appropriately.
Yes,
Yeah,
very much so.
yeah. That man,
I don't even know
him,
how old he is anymore.
Anthony Hopkins is wow, 1937, Brad. He is 85 years
Holy
old
God.
and still giving some damn good performances too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Brad. What is your final verdict on Hannibal?
I'm gonna give Hannibal a 9 out of 10.
All right, man. I'm only coming in a little bit lower than you, Brett, but my final verdict for Hannibal is an 8.5 out of 10. Fucking love this movie. I want to watch the other two films before I like form an actual like big opinion on this because I feel like with the context of the other two films, I
Yeah.
probably will feel differently about this one. But yeah, I don't understand where people were criticizing the violence and stuff like that. I think that
It was
for 2000,
2001.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
2001. So it was a whole different time back then.
yeah,
Back before the towers went down, and you know,
yeah. Exactly. Wait, this before the towers went down?
I don't know if it was
Yeah, February
before or after.
2001.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But with that said, we are done with our review of Hannibal. And with that, we do say thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you leave a like on the video. And when you're subscribing, make sure you click that notification bell so you don't miss a single piece of content on the channel. Make sure on the audio side of things, you drop a 5-star review on the app that allows you to do that. It would help us out a lot. And of course, keep up to date with us with our socials. You can check out our website, thenerdcore.com, our Twitter, the nerdcore underscore, our Instagram, the nerdcore, our Patreon at patreon.com/the nerdcore. You can watch this episode live before anybody else gets to see it. It goes up a little bit later for the public, but it goes live for the patrons on Patreon at the $1 tier. Also, you can check out our Discord by checking out our description on the audio and video platforms. Come talk movies with us. Tell us if you like Hannibal. I really want to know whether you guys like Hannibal or not. Um,
Let
we
us know.
also have a lot of what's it called, thank yous to say here. We have two special thank yous. We want to thank our patron supporters, of course, but we also want to thank our producers. Without their help, this is not possible. Brad, can you tell them about our wonderful legacy producer, Shane?
You can follow our friend Shane at twitch.tv/XSRK or on Twitter at thriftedil or go buy something from the Suppy God at prisoncityvintage.com.
Nice. And of course, our wonderful Kylie.
Hi, Kylie.
Kylie PLI on Twitter, Kylie P Sports 90 on Instagram. Thank you, Kylie, for being a producer. And of course, you can become a producer by going over to patreon.com/nerdcore and checking out the respective tiers for those rewards. Also, Brad, next month we are officially starting a new theme here, and we are going to look at a female director because we are celebrating Women's History Month here on the Nerdcore. And we are going to look at none other than the filmography of Hong Kong filmmaker An Hui. I have never seen a film by An Hui before.
No, neither have I. The
But
trailers look great, though.
yeah, as we were looking for different people to talk about, Brad was like, "Why don't we do An Hui?" And I was like, "Who the fuck is An Hui?" But once we saw more of her, and we were like, her trailers were like, "Oh crap, this looks good." I was like,
Yeah.
let's do it. So
I mean, it's kind of like with the Edward Yang thing. I don't know if you probably knew Edward Yang though.
nope.
No, so it was like Edward Yang. Like we find those,
Yeah.
needle in a haystack kind of.
Yeah. I had heard the name. I did my research to make my list for the 75 films from Asia list, and I had put his name down, but I had never seen a single movie from Edward Yang before that.
And now he's like one of our favorite directors.
Yup. And we are going to start that month with Our Time Will Come. But we have a pretty important detail to make to tell y'all. For now, until we can catch up on these mini pods, we are not going to be offering a mini pod for our coming months. We just have a lot backed up, y'all, and I'm sure that we are gonna actually have we're gonna try to at least add one into like an extra review during the month, so that way we can get those finished up for y'all. And once we can catch up, we'll go back to making our mini pods. Either way, you all on Patreon do get the chance to make us watch a movie during the month, and we do an exclusive review from y'all that y'all get to choose. So we still get that, but we wanted to make sure that we could catch up on these mini pods because we do have like 5 of those waiting for us to catch up on, and it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of movie, Brad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we're not done there. Yeah, that was a bad way to say that. We're not done yet because you can come back on Thursday. We will be talking about Creed 2 as we continue our road to Creed 3. I'm watching it on Friday, so I'm excited. But Creed 2, we're going to be talking about that on Thursday. And of course, for the patrons, it will be live on Wednesday. So without further ado, Brad, let's go ahead and get him out of here.
All right, Raul. Thank you for being host as always. Thank you to all those who join us and chat in the future. Thank you to all our listeners out there, all our Patreon supporters. We appreciate each and every one of you. And in this episode, I'm just going to say, don't put a tail on Hannibal Lecter. Nope. Young Yoda out.
Especially because you'll get stabbed in the ball, almost close to the balls.
You do. You tried to tap me in the balls, but you missed. That's an artery, dude.